What do you do with inherited jewelry? If you have inherited jewelry, there are several options you'll need to consider. Ultimately, the decision of what to do with inherited jewelry depends on your personal preferences and financial needs. For instance, jewelry in good condition can be worn and become part of your wardrobe. Likewise, if the jewelry has sentimental value, you may choose to keep it as a cherished family heirloom or have it remade into a more modern design. However, if you don't want to keep the jewelry, you can always donate or sell it. You can take it to a jewelry store or a pawn shop for a quick appraisal and sale, or you can sell it through an online auction site or a jewelry dealership or a regular auction company if it's of significant value. What is the etiquette for inherited jewelry? There is no one set of rules for how to handle inherited jewelry, as it can vary greatly depending on the family's culture, beliefs, traditions, etc. However, in general, the most important thing is to respect the wishes of the decedent. If the person who left you the jewelry expressed a specific wish for how it should be used or passed on, you should really honor that request. Additionally, if multiple people have inherited jewelry, it's crucial to have open and honest communication with each other to avoid any misunderstandings. If the jewelry is to be divided among family members, do so in a fair and equitable way. If you have questions about distributing inherited jewelry from an estate or a trust, schedule a free consultation at rmolawyers.com. Is it okay to sell inherited jewelry? Sure. It's perfectly fine to sell inherited jewelry if you don't want to keep it. Inherited jewelry is considered personal property and you have the right to do with it as you please. People often choose to sell their inherited jewelry for any number of reasons, such as raising funds for another major purchase, paying off debts, or supporting their family or even their lifestyle. Who gets jewelry when someone dies? When somebody passes, their jewelry and other personal property is going to be distributed according to the terms of their will or trust. If they pass without any estate plan in place, then the estate is going to be distributed according to the intestacy laws of the state in which they lived. How do you fairly distribute jewelry after death? In many instances, jewelry will be distributed according to the deceased person's wishes, as they set forth in their estate planning documents. If the deceased person had a will or trust, those documents should specify how the jewelry and their other assets are going to be distributed. This is going to provide a clear roadmap for how to distribute their assets. However, in situations where the deceased did not leave a will or trust, or it doesn't specify how particular pieces of jewelry, for example, should be distributed, it's essential to split those assets fairly among the heirs in proportion to the share of the estate they're entitled to receive. Knowing the market value of each piece can help determine its worth and ensure that it's distributed fairly, at least along economic lines. If there's any confusion or disagreement about the value of the jewelry, then a professional appraiser should be consulted to provide an independent evaluation. Often coming to terms as to actual real-world values can help resolve disputes. How do you separate inherited jewelry between siblings? While the deceased person's will and trust may dictate how specific pieces of jewelry are to be distributed, if there are no instructions or estate planning documents, the personal representative, administrator, executor, etc., whoever's in charge with distributing those assets is going to be placed in the really difficult and challenging position of deciding how to fairly distribute jewelry amongst family members. Separating inherited jewelry between siblings can be especially difficult and emotional, especially if multiple people want the same piece. When making these decisions, it's important for the personal representative to respect the deceased's wishes as much as possible, while also providing for a fair distribution of the estate's assets. What if siblings fight over the jewelry? If siblings or other family members fight over jewelry that's part of the estate of a deceased parent or other loved one, and there's no specific guidance in the will or trust as to how that asset should be distributed, then a creative solution may be what's called best choice. That option functions like this. You rotate the possession of certain pieces of jewelry between siblings who want it while maintaining shared ownership. Or, differently, it may be better simply to sell the jewelry and split the proceeds. You can also use a round-robin approach where people choose in order and it goes round and round until people have made their selections. Perhaps some things won't be disputed and others will. Even if you hope to resolve the situation amicably, it's always a good idea to involve a probate litigation lawyer as soon as that dispute arises. An experienced probate litigation lawyer can help you negotiate this dispute with your siblings, with your other family members, help you reach a mutually agreeable compromise, and if you can't come to an understanding, then they can help represent your interests in the court that's going to help decide this matter for you. Have questions? At RMO, we protect people like you every day. Schedule a free consultation at rmolawyers.com. Thanks for watching.